Hi, I'm Ruben Saltzman with Structure Tech Home Inspections, and today I'm going to talk to you about cisterns and abandoned rain leaders. An abandoned rain leader is something like this. We'll see these at the outside of houses, and typically we're going to see them at the different corners of houses in the vicinity of where you would have downspouts, oftentimes directly below downspouts. These things were installed to catch rainwater from the roof, bring it down into the basement, and from there it would go to one of two locations. One possibility is that it drained into the city's municipal treatment system. It would go to where the same place where we flush all of our toilets. All of that water would go down and it would overwhelm our sewage treatment facilities, and that wasn't a good thing. The other possibility is that it would take that water into a cistern, and a cistern was a ginormous water containment system built underneath the home, usually built underneath the home here in the Twin Cities. Here's a nice little diagram of what that looks like. You'd have rainwater filling this thing up, and then they would use that for things other than potable water. They'd use it for, say, watering the lawn or washing clothes and things like that. This diagram shows a pretty fancy system. It's got a pressure tank and all that stuff. I've heard that the more basic ones would simply have a basic pump that would actually just take the water out for watering the lawn. But here's a pretty nice diagram. Thank you, Mr. Feza, for providing this. Here's what the cisterns would look like. Now, this one was not in good shape. It's all kind of broken apart, but it is a gigantic structure that we would see underneath the home. And we've seen our share of them. And it's not common. We probably run across about one a year here in the Twin Cities, but they do exist. Here's another example of one. There's an overflow pipe, and you can kind of see the level of water where how high that thing would end up going. Here's yet another one that we ran across just recently. And as we get inside of that cistern and we get a closer look, you can see here's the pipes that would have taken that water from the downspouts and the gutters, and it filled this thing. Here's a look down inside. You can see that I think there's still a pump buried under this big pile of debris, but I'm not positive. It looks like someone may have put a makeshift ladder in there as well. And yeah, now it's just being used to store garbage. There's a look at the rest of the walls. You can see there's more pipes dumping into here. And then at some point, there's probably one of these pipes is going to be an overflow pipe. And from all I've read about these systems, that overflow pipe would go to a dry well somewhere in case there's too much rainwater coming in there. And so what do we say about these from a home inspection perspective when we come across them? Really nothing. We tell people you have a cistern at your house. The end. That's about it. Some of the more conservative parents on our inspection team might tell their clients that you shouldn't let your kids fall into there. Maybe put up a baby gate or maybe block it off. And then there's the other parents on our team like me where I say, hey, this is your job as a parent to realize that you shouldn't let your kids fall into these deep abysses. I also don't tell parents during inspections that they should keep their kids away from stairways. I feel like that's just a parenting thing. But all right, I'm getting sidetracked. Bottom line is, from a home inspection perspective, there's not a whole lot that your home inspector needs to bring up or be concerned about with these. It's just an oddity. And to wrap this up, I have a quick little quiz. What would you call this? I'll give you a minute to think about that. It's called a twisted cistern. Yep. Twisted cistern. We shared this on our Facebook page, and we had somebody comment saying, I think I speak for everybody on this page when I say that we won't take it anymore. I'm sorry. Couldn't help it. And then, so what do people normally do with these downspouts that would go down underneath the house and into the home? Well, the city of Minneapolis doesn't like them. Most cities don't like them because they don't know where that water is going. And they actually say that you're supposed to have these things disconnected, and they have a whole whole sheet showing homeowners how to do this. This is an instruction manual saying how to disconnect your downspouts. And I'm not going to share the whole thing with you. It's just, this is just a quick snapshot. Here's what the old systems would look like. And they tell you all these materials that you need to get up and what your plug can be made out of. And here's the end of it. And here's what it'll look like when it's all finished. This is a nice professional installation. And this handout, this PDF, is put out by the city of Minneapolis. You can find it if you Google rain leader disconnect Minneapolis or any variation of that. It should be one of the first things that comes up. So yeah, Minneapolis doesn't like these systems. That first picture I showed you where it showed it was actually open and there was a stone covering the top of it, that is a rare photo. The stone was actually sitting on top. I moved the stone to take the picture. I think that's probably the only one I've ever seen that was open during one of my home inspections. And I think that's about everything I know about cisterns. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.